It's interesting because now this is something that folks may not realize about you, but obviously, and you should have picked it up by now, you're a very well-educated and thought-filled gentleman. You've got a lot to say, and you've got a lot of thoughts that are going on, and I think it's easy to dismiss those kind of things. You think, well, you play these drunken characters. Like you said, your daughter's friends will call up and say, you better get him off the road, he's drunk again. But this is not true. There's a whole other side to you. I think that people probably, unless they know you and they have time like we do to sit down with you, they don't see that.
Oh, give me a minute and I'll try to impress them.
One thing that stuck out you told me yesterday, now I don't know if you said, we were talking about the Canadian military expanding and building new destroyers. You said let's build stainless steel ones and take some of our fresh water, and that's stuck in my head. That's a great idea. Was that just kind of a off the cuff thing, or is that something you even thought to?
I have thought about that, and I've actually promoted that on stage in various places, because when you think about it, we have a problem right now with our water. As soon as we sell it, we're fucked, because the Americans will say, oh, you got to keep selling it to us, because if you don't, you'll break trade regulations. They'll find a way to get it anyway someday when they need it. They'll just take it if they need it. But I think that we should work out ways to protect our aquifers, which includes the oil sands right here. We should find a way to rehabilitate that land. I mean, can you imagine if we brought the people over from Syria and built apartment buildings up there for them, greenhouses, and just fucking had the trucks coming back and the trains that are coming back full. We could take soil up there. We could steal the soil from Utah because they don't fucking need it. And we should trade rich soil for water, and we should cover the north. Do you know why? Because I know this sounds silly, but climate's changing.
I've heard.
We're going to be growing stuff up there if we're smart. There's nothing up there, we got tundra and we got shit stuff, but can you imagine all the train cars? I count them 100 at a time coming down full of shit. And what if we fill that full of shit and take it up, and fill it full of refugees and take it up and put Canadians to work? Like, we just laid off 60,000 people, didn't we? Or 30,000 or whatever.
A lot.
But do you know what they're not talking about? EI. How much does 30,000 people times, 10 months? Some of them are going to get the taste of that, and they're going to say, I'm fucking glad I was laid off. I'm sitting back here in Newfoundland. I'm sitting back here in Nova Scotia. I got my wife and baby on my arm, and I'm building a house.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. But no one's talking about the billions of dollars that's going to cost a taxpayer. And I think I'm off on a wrong tangent.
No, but it's an interesting thought, and so we talked a lot about this, and I think that these are all the kind of relevant things. And you'll know, if you guys have been listening to our show, you'll know we get into this kind of stuff, and we talk all the time about the price of this, or dysfunctionality of our legal system, or all the different things that are going on. And this is one of them. I'm a firm believer, I think probably like you are, if we have respectful discussions, at least we can create change, because that's where it's got to start. It's through a theater of respect and
if you can get the discussions. I heard a good one this morning. There's a guy playing here in Pogie. His name's Rosesco.
Yep,
the fiddle player, I think.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's a genius. I mean, he's probably one of the best in the world. But he said, to me, it's not right and left. It's not conservative and liberal. He said it's authoritarian and libertarian. That's where the dividing line is. And so if you get it confused and think he's a goddamn right-wing conservative, right? It's not. He is a person that is so hamstrung by the way that things have been and should be and are regulated to be, and cannot, for example, I'm in the airport the other day, and it says, well, she doesn't have her ID, or she's 68 years old, and she doesn't have her ID. Well, how did she get? How did she fly in here? I don't know.
Possible.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they said, well, we can't let her fly out. And I turned and I said, why can't you? Well, she doesn't have any ID with her picture on. I said, look at her. Use your own judgment.
Yes.
But they can't use their own judgment. They'll be fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they'll be fired because the person above them will want to fire them, because that person has striven for that position where they can just muckleize anybody they want to.
But why do you think we've come to that, though? Where's all that driven from?
Well, I think it's because the organizations that we have in the world have become so large and so unwieldy, they haven't progressed and made part of their dynamic fresh and new to accommodate, like the police forces in the States. Like, couldn't they fix it so they didn't have bullies? Couldn't we fix recruiting policemen and security people so that we don't let bullies get in there?
Yeah.
Why can't we?
We seem to do that a better job of that in Canada.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, it's just our ethos is different. The same kind of guys that were bullies in grade 10, they're the kind of guys who sign up for the police force. Not all of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, not all of them, because a lot of them get in trouble early because they're beating up cats and dogs, and they get criminal records.
Yeah.
I'm just extrapolating here. All I'm saying is that the entrenched ways of doing stuff have got us in trouble right now.
Yes.
Because because we have so many rules and regulations. Nova Scotia, I did an interview there the other day, and my point was, how can you possibly get anything done in this province when there's 10 organizations ready to examine your plan to hang a sign or build a road or put in a septic or add a piece on your house?
Yeah, but it just shuts it down before it even gets the chance to start. It really is true.
Yeah, and I want to say about, I was just shooting Whistling Dixie. I met an awful lot of wonderful policemen.
Yes.
If I hadn't, I'd be probably in jail right now. Seriously, I've gotten a lot of breaks.
There's a couple of them back here too.
Well, there you go. And I have been befriended, and I have, the greatest respect for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
they got a big job, man.
It's the same with doctors, right?
Yes.
It's the same with doctors, and believe it or not, it's the same with lawyers. But the system presents itself in such a way that the might and the powerful in the I have to do a speech to Canadian Armed Forces next month, and I'm working on it now, and it's to celebrate the unions that help the Canadian bases in Halifax. All the different things from the construction workers to all. And they've asked me to do a speech, and I'm torn. Should I make it funny, or should I really come on to these guys and say unions they're very important, yeah. They've helped us out so much in improving the...
Absolutely, yeah.
But they are so hamstrung on their own fucking rules, and the people they appoint and the people that want the position to be head of the union and get the pension and stuff, some of them... And it's the same in everything. It's the same as some of the Indian reserves and reservations. Some of them are run by the corruptest regimes ever.
Absolutely.
And it's the same as some of the governments of small communities are so inept and so inappropriate. And some of the governments of provinces are the same way. And I can mention my own province. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
But the system elects them to be in charge and gives them powers that they didn't earn. Or have no intelligence to be able to function.
And I think the only check and balance in a lot of those cases is re-election, but that takes 4 years.
Exactly. And you can bamboozle the people. Well, like Stephen Harper still won't tell where he got the $2 million that helped him win the leadership of that party.
Right.
And we forget that McKay lied his ass off and signed a piece of paper the week after he said there was no way that he would let Stephen Harper in on the Conservative Party, and he took it over, right? And there's so many things that I just say, I don't know a lot about politics.
Have we stopped our people in this, and we've got a great nation, I think, because I've lived all over the place, and we've talked about this, and having come back, Canada, this is a great nation. We've got a lot of great people here. But what's happening? Are we just too polite? Have we started to just accept things blindly? We've stopped questioning?
Who are we?
Apathetic. I mean, the population in general, because we're not, when I talk to folks, and you probably, I'm wondering, I guess if you get the same reaction, but it's like people will say, that annoys me. This shouldn't be this way. I think we should have change. And yet it doesn't always seem to come about. But why is that? Where's the difference? Because we can sit here and agree. We can talk about it. Josh, I'm sure.
Do you know why they play music?
Maddie feels the same.
Do you know why they play music at 110 decibels in clubs?
No.
Because it sells more liquor.
Really?
Yeah. And have you ever been in a club where the music is 110 decibels? Do you think you can have a conversation, exchange of ideas?
Yeah, there's no chance.
So why are, 40% of the population of young people in Canada, hurting their hearing and getting drunk because it's part of the zeitgeist now?
Yes.
Everyone wants to get drunk on the weekends and do drugs and all that. So that's the society that we're in. When we have a society like that, which is being purposely dumbed down.
Yes.
Because
It's
governments know that an educated population is dangerous to its longevity.
Absolutely.
And so,
If you're drunk and you're out of the loop, you don't question anything. You'll just blindly follow.
look, if we said what would be good for Canada, it would be that we should have representative elections.
Yes.
That's what it should be.
It should, absolutely. I couldn't
Yeah.
agree. We've talked about this on the show.
Yeah, first past the post is ridiculous, I would simply say that unless we have a population more than 58%, and that's how many of us vote in the election, we need to have a population who's interested up in the 80s to get the government that we think we should deserve.
So now, and here's really, I think, the crutch of it. We've talked about it on the show, but the election time is coming up, and there are a lot of issues, and they're important to you.
It's crux.
I think we
It's
should.
crux.
We need to be out there.
It's crux.
Yeah.
Not crutch.
Oh, it's the crux.
No, it's the crux. Yeah.
The crux of it. We have to make sure, though. We got to get out there, and we got to get things happening.
I love when people correct you, Kenny.
As my mother said, I only correct the people I like.
Oh, there you go.